all the guests and participants of today online
Володь, выключи видео.
Meeting. Dear colleagues, не подтягивай, да?
Да.
Is it better?
Yes.
Great. So, dear colleagues, I just suggest to wait next 2-3 minutes to wait other guests and participants of today's online meeting. And afterwards, we will launch the meeting. Yes, people are coming. In the very beginning, we'll have the welcome presentation from secretariat of the Civil BRICS, Mr. Kanakin, and afterwards we will launch the webinar to exchange with our thoughts and ideas on the proposals from our working group. Yes, and a technical request from the organizers or from the secretariat. Just put your names in the screen just to understand who speaks and how to call you. Alexei, welcome. Unfortunately, I have not very good connection, so that's why I will be out of video. Nevertheless, very hope that we'll be successful today. And Govind, nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
It was nice. Yes, it was nice to share with you with your thoughts and ideas. Thanks for very interesting proposals.
And thank you very much for your being very open and considering all the all the recommendations. Thank you so much. Vladimir.
Yep.
Now I'll put on my video off so that the message is better or language voice is better.
Yep, that's fine. Yep. Okay, colleagues, it's 34 after 2 Moscow time, and I would like to ask Mr. Kanakin, Stepan Kanakin, to do the welcome presentation from Secretariat of Civil BRICS in Russia. Over.
Vladimir, thank you very much. Colleagues, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Great. Dear friends, my name is Stepan Kanakin, and I represent both Russian Organizing Committee Expert Council on BRICS and Civil BRICS Secretariat. And on behalf of these two institutions, from us all, we are deeply appreciative and offer you our most grateful welcome. Governments of the BRICS member states recognize green issues, and of course, planning our Civil BRICS agenda, we just couldn't let the themes out of our focus. Please let me remind you that Civil BRICS Forum is one of traditional polylogs within official BRICS program, and it serves to consolidate the civil priorities for the BRICS agenda, as well as to present civil initiatives. And our main goal is to prepare recommendations on behalf of BRICS civil society organizations and non-commercial, non-governmental organizations for the BRICS leaders. And for that purpose, 8 working groups have been established, and one of them is ecology, climate, and energy. And I would like to thank our honorable co-chair of this group, and our moderator for today is Vladimir Chuprov, Energy Unit Head of Russian Greenpeace. The purpose of our meeting today is to discuss the draft recommendations, and we carefully reviewed the set of 0 draft recommendations. You all did an excellent job. There are very substantial recommendations and very interesting, and we really we can tell how much you contributed to the success of the Civil BRICS Forum, and how much we appreciate your time and efforts. Today, we have a free discussion. We also have people who can help to organize this discussion. From a Russian BRICS Expert Council, this is Valeria. Please welcome, and Yulia from Greenpeace. Please don't forget that we have a chat. You can write your comments or question there, and also you can ask your question by voice. I would like to thank all experts joining us today, and I wish us all vivid discussion and fruitful drafting. Thank you.
Yep. Stepan, thank you very much. Just to a couple of technical additions, that today's video will be recorded.
Yes, excuse me.
Yes. Yeah. So
yes.
If somebody feel non-comfortable about it, please flag. We'll try to sort it out, if you don't mind. And we also have here I have 2 assistants, Yulia and Anna. All of you get know Yulia and Anna from the previous communication, when Yulia and Anna did a tremendous job just to invite right people who today at the meeting. And thanks for them for organizing this this platform, this possibility to communicate directly to each other. Okay, let's start. And first of all, I would like to thank everybody who could find the time and join our online meeting, especially people from Brazil and China having the different time zones. Special thanks to you. So today's meeting is fixed for 1.5 hour, but if we need, so we could postpone, and just not to lose anybody's ideas or thoughts. So time is not limited, or let's say reasonably not limited. So we will fix all your ideas and thoughts you will present. And afterwards, Stepan, please correct me. We have deadline September 7th, next Monday, when we have to just to utilize all today's suggestions, proposals, and suggest to the Secretariat the final draft. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Great. It means that next 2 days, I am, as a co-chair with my assistants, will develop the proposals. We'll think how to put it into the text of the existing draft. And afterwards, on September 7th, so we'll share for sure with the final draft, with very big hope that for sure we'll not lose or any important ideas from your side, colleagues. And that would be the final document to be presented on the September 25. Stepan, am I right?
Yes.
Great.
That's correct.
Great. So that's about technical points. Regarding the schedule, the format of the today meeting. So at the moment I see 16 people, of them about 12 who are the guests, who are participants or stakeholders of the working group. It means that I would suggest 5-7 minutes of everybody's possibility to speak, to take floor, and afterwards to have 2-3 questions for next 5 minutes if need, just to specify and exchange with information you all bring to this online meeting. So herewith I will give a floor the first volunteer who would like to get the floor. Yes, and thanks everybody for sharing the information in chat with your names. That's great. That will help to our group, our technical, to Anna and Yulia to understand who speaks and just to fix it in our minutes afterwards. So here, please, volunteers. So that would be the format. The people just take floor, volunteer it. So there is no special order or line. If you need to be first in the beginning, so you're welcome, because of time zone, for example, and then we will have exchange person by person, and afterwards we will resume the meeting with the final words from my side and from Stepan. If the secretariat satisfied, hope it will, and it will be just very free and open volunteer chat seminar. So please welcome, and if people still think, and it's a big first step is most difficult, I would say, as initial draft, may I ask Govinda to start. Govind Kelkar, with her ideas, suggestions we already discussed, and input reflected in our draft. Govind, your floor.
Okay, thank you very much. I am from India, and in Delhi, just outside Delhi in Gurgaon, I live. And I work really on gender, energy, climate change, and the land rights of women. So this is my area of research. I represent an organization called GenDev Center for Research and Innovation. And I'm also part of the core member of the BRICS Feminist Watch. And I wanted to thank Vladimir particularly for accepting in a very first shot, without any explanation, 3 recommendations that I made to be included on the gender question. So is that okay? Anything else you want me to say? Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here.
Yeah. So you can repeat the ideas you sent to me, and maybe another participants also would like to learn how important the cooking and the gender issues in India regarding the gender position and renewable energy need in the daily life.
Okay. Should I repeat them now or later?
I think now it will be very correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I suggested the 3 things to be included. But in the draft when I received, that first was really that we should, in the future of work, we should look at the green jobs, and that would be very, very important. And what is the meaning of the green jobs for women and for men? And ILO's the definition of the green jobs and sustainable development. So that was one thing that I suggested. Second, in that the same thing or offshoot of that was how women are engaged, women and men are engaged in decent and sustainable work, particularly for women. That is where the NDB and other organizations should be particularly making an effort. That was where I have contributed earlier, and based on that, I suggested. The third thing that I suggested, and that was also incorporated, was about that there should be a phasing out of cooking with biomass, solid biomass, because that has impacted and caused a lot of deaths and health impact, adverse health impacts of women and children who are around the mothers. And that is very common thing in Asia and Africa. And that really caused a lot of morbidity and mortality of women and children. So it is very, very important for us that we should promote clean cooking energy. That was that is effort, and that is a part of the thing that we should be promoting in terms of the Greenpeace and other efforts. And my last suggestion was that in the vulnerable groups of citizens, there has to be important aspect given to women with regard to the renewable energy. Renewable energy can be really solar energy. For cooking, it can be wind energy, but particularly, I wanted to discuss about the solar energy, where it can be, it's available. I mean, in terms of, and people can manage with it, and a lot of efforts are being made. So how women can make use of this solar energy in terms of agricultural work, where they are engaged in huge numbers, and all like irrigation and others, and also in terms of cooking, which is the also they participate for their entire family, because I consider cooking not really as a private work, but it is a public work to me, because if we don't do the cooking, then labor force is not there. So I thank very much Shupra and Vladimir Shupra, that when I presented these things, I mean, these things were taken into account and incorporated the draft. So thank you very much. Any clarifications, I'm willing to,
Yeah.
will be very happy to clarify.
Yeah. Govind, thanks to you to be the first. I think women always, especially in India and Russia, I think even more brave than than men. We see it's from different difficult historical moments. So thanks for that, Govind. And yes, we communicate intensively with Govind, and the 2 points Govind just told reflected in the points number 12 and 13 of the draft of our position paper, which is a link kindly given by Yulia. Please find it in the chat, so please open if you need. If somebody need the access, so please just flag that, and Yulia and Anna will help with the access. And Govind just there was another third point, Govind, we also discussed, and it was about the restoration or combat of desertification, where women could be also involved in the reforestation, in the restoration of ecosystem damaged by logging, etc., etc. So it's also reflected in point number 18. So Govind, thank you very much for that, and I think it was very good beginning, one of the best suggestions, and for me myself, I opened quite interesting new fields of knowledge. Thanks, Govind. So colleagues, if no comments or question to Govind, I would like to give a floor to Maria Chernova, who was also not first, but even very first with recommendations. And hereby I'm giving the floor to Maria. Maria, welcome.
Thank you, Vladimir. Well, that's news for me that I was the first. And I want to thank you very much for adding our proposals to the draft. So I represent Confederation of Consumer Societies, consumer protection movement, I would say. And our proposals were focused mainly on sustainable consumption and sustainable production. So these proposals are aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal 12. You all know what it is. I don't need to mention it more. So our proposals were added in points 19 and 20. So I'm just looking at them now. So what were the main ideas? So those concerning sustainable production are developing the circular economy and helping businesses to make the production of resource efficient and durable consumer goods. As we all know, now the problem is that consumer goods are tending to be less durable than they used to be. And it's a great risk for all of us from the environmental point of view. So another idea was to promote, to stimulate the production and sale of goods with the minimum required packaging, with minimum packaging and with the packaging that can be recycled afterwards. So it's, I mean, mostly the plastic packaging, because now we have, well, you know that the plastic pollution is a great problem. And also the problem is that many types of plastic cannot be recycled. And another proposal, which is, well, linked to the previous one, is to ensure that BRICS countries have the necessary infrastructure to recycle the plastics and to recycle other kinds of packaging and waste. So it's important to make this infrastructure accessible to consumers, accessible to people living in BRICS countries. And the next step from the point of view of consumers is that building the infrastructure. I already mentioned it for waste recycling. It's important to make recycling an easy choice for consumers, right? So and another part of the consumer point of view is raising awareness about the consumer, about the sustainable consumption, about the problem of climate change, about the behavior that can help to keep our planet safe, right? So so these are the main ideas we proposed. And I'd like to say that I think that it's very important to keep the proposal about the phasing out single-use plastic products. So it's crucial to achieve the goals we all want and need to achieve. So that's very important. Yes, I think that's mainly it. That's what I wanted to say.
Maria, thank you very much. You were the very first, because you sent your suggestion before I got the co-chair position of this working group. So you were even faster than me. So yes, Maria, thanks for your great contribution. We could not avoid such important things like single-use plastic, like circular economy. For sure, there were another stakeholders whose proposals were reflected in the points 19 and 20. If you see, it's particularly about electronic recycling metal position that come from China, which is very important, I think, especially for this region. And circular economy also reflected in the point number 9, with the recommendation to the banks just to calculate and count in their projects the recycling and carbon footprint, just to force the bank system towards circular economy. So it means that, yes, it's a very important issue reflected in different parts of our recommendation. So colleagues, please, your comments, clarifications to Maria. Yes,
So
great.
I just wanted to add, Vladimir, that the 0.9, I totally agree that it is a great idea, and it's quite an innovative one. So if it is accepted and implemented, I think it will make great change.
Maybe just to be more realistic, for sure, this is our desire, and it's very great we have such a common vision. But for sure, traditionally, the BRICS leaders of G7, G20 20 summits, when they receive proposal from civil society, let's say diplomatically, not often reflect our suggestions in an official paper. Nevertheless, it's very important to flag it from time to time and consolidate our community around these joint platforms. Maria, yes, thank you very much. So, colleagues, hereby I would like to give a floor if we have the participants from Brazil. So we're coming from India to Russia, then Brazil. If we have, Anna, do we have Yulia, our guests, participants from Brazil? No. Okay. Do we have guests from South Africa? So if we have participants from South Africa, would be great to learn your ideas, what you think about the draft of the proposed document. Okay, so we still wait people who are ready to speak from South Africa region. So who else would like to join the floor? I know that from Italy, there was a big contribution from Italy. They also come before I get the co-chair position. And Fabrizio Zucca, you should be from Italy, right?
Yes, I am from Italy.
Great. So your floor, please, Fabrizio.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to bring an experience which we have also in Italy and also within the framework of the European Union. As you probably know, the next budget of the European Union is mostly focused on green deals and green targets. So what I wanted to stress, to outline are basically 3 or 4 points, some of which have already been discussed. So first of all, since I'm an economist and I mostly work in the economy and financial world, so basically this is the ground of my contribution. It was discussed about the financial sectors, which is very important, and the fact that banks should support green projects. But before that, I think that it should be a very good thing if each bank and development bank are already doing this, would create and have and make it clear their own concept of sustainability, because this is not plain. So basically, the fact that banks should have a sustainability model that they can spread and they can show, it would help a lot the business to adapt and adopt this kind of framework. So this is the first point. I think that in this framework, development banks can be a guide because they already do this, but clearly the major financial institutions are in the commercial and investment side. So clearly it's important to spread the models to these players. A second point that to me is very important is the involvement of business. It's very important that companies will adopt something similar to a sustainability report or in some cases the integrated report. as probably people from South Africa know very well, because it was started there, the practice of integrated report. Integrated report will include in the reporting of company their impact on environment and civil society, so that the value itself of the company vis-a-vis the investor and the banks would show what they are doing in terms of, let's say, added value or added this value in environment and in and in the social environment. So this is also very important because it will show how business react, and I think it's very important that business and social society will know and accept the principle of sustainability. And as a third point, I would like to say a few things about circular economy, because in many situations I noticed that circular economy is often confused with recycling or with the cycle of recycling. Actually, circular economy is a different model to see the economy as a whole. So basically, as opposed as a linear economy where the model is resource, transformation, and consumption. In this case, in the case of circular economy, we have a loop, but a loop which implies a different design, a different use of resources, and the increase of the value that can be produced through the use of minimal physical resources and environmental resources. So it's very important to spread the idea that there is a different model, which is not anymore the linear one, but is a closed loop model, which is based on clearly resource efficiency, but also with reuse, recycling. That means that imply the eco-design, the possibility to repair, and the possibility that products are already designed to be reused, and of course of such things like the sharing economy, and basically to pass from an idea of possession of a good to an idea of service, so of utilization of the good. So basically, these three are the main issue that I wanted to take to the discussion as my contribution. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Fabrizio. I would like to comment your 3 points, starting from the existing EU Green Deal situation and investment into these technologies reflected in the taxonomy. So it's partly reflected already in the preamble. It's reflected also in the point number 2. We in the part of, so the order is not very to be sorted out later on in the regarding economical stimulation. So it says that regulatory policy number 2 and 3. Yes, point number 3 in our position paper, draft position paper. If you find a way how to improve or polish this point number 3 at existing order, to develop common taxonomy of technologies and industrial activities, to shift to green economy, and for sure we cannot appeal, it's not our scope to appeal to the leaders of out of BRICS countries. But nevertheless, when we speak about the common taxonomy, it means that it's not just EU separate taxonomy of Chinese taxonomy or Russian taxonomy or Indian taxonomy. I think that would be great if we somehow reflect the need of international taxonomy, which could be interregional, just to avoid such conflicts where some taxonomies far from or very different from what's suggested by, for example, EU taxonomy. And I think it's very important to somehow reflect. And if you, Fabrizio, have an idea how to do that, that would be great. Regarding your second point about the appealing to business, yes, it's again point number 3 in our proposal. And what you say about the integration reporting, so we don't have it yet, but if you see the importance of this point, I think it's quite reasonable to reflect it somehow in the point number 3, sort of sub-bullet with the asking the government to develop sort of integration reporting system for industry, just to reflect not only commercial but also social and environmental KPIs in their reports. I think that's quite doable, and I think we can pick it up easily. Regarding your third point, circular economy versus linear economy, so it could be equal. So yes, this is the risk. It could be a sort of loophole for further linear development, endless development with the involvement of new material resources of ecosystem, planetary ecosystem. So that's why I think it's also quite reasonable to reflect it somehow in our point devoted to this issue, to circular economy, in the point number 19. Maybe somehow reflect that circular economy should be understood as not as a linear economy, linear development economy. So it should be the real 3R, reuse, reduce, recycle economy yeah, I think it's possible to reflect it in point number 19. So Fabrizio, thank you very much. If you agree, so this point could be armed with your ideas for sure. So you're welcome. Just colleagues, don't forget about deadline. So if you do it today and tomorrow, so then for us, for the Russian team, could be easier to just reflect and to finalize it in the on Sunday to hand the report, final report on Monday, September 7th. So Fabrizio, thank you. Colleagues, please, your comments, your clarification to Fabrizio, to his very interesting ideas, partly not reflected in our proposal. If not, may I ask somebody from China? Do we have our colleagues from China with the ideas proposal to share at our today's online meeting? Yulia, Anna, do we have from China? So we have Italy, India, Russia.
I don't see any, unfortunately.
Right. Okay. Before I come back, and I would like to give a floor to our colleague Alexei Kokorin. Alexei, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Sure.
Yeah. So I would like to give you floor next. Alexei present WWF Russia, one of the leader or think tank organization in climate issues and climate development policy in Russian Federation. Alexei also proposed quite interesting things connected with the carbon trade market reflected in our proposal. So I think it would be great if Alexei also share with his ideas of the process, and maybe something new could be reflected in our proposal. Thanks. Your floor, Alexei.
Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you very much. I'm whole my life focused on climate because my background is physics of atmosphere and ocean, and I was a scientist many years. Then I joined Climate Convention, UNFCCC, then Kyoto Protocol, and then the Paris Agreement. And our idea that cooperation between countries should be more close and close, it's absolutely evident. However, as NGO, they have to take care about transparency and ecological or social integrity. So transparency and integrity, yeah. Integrity is impossible without transparency, of course, yeah. However, only transparency is not enough. It's maybe good for business, but not good for NGO. Thinking about that and having that, it seems that it's unlikely that our country will have joint carbon trading system, classic trading system like in European Union in particular. They are too far from that because they will not be able to ensure full transparency of everything in our very large countries, maybe just due to very large size of our countries together, yeah. Therefore, our idea, I mean, WWF Russia and myself, that they should have to use project approach, because inside projects, they certainly can ensure transparency. They have to ensure good social quality, and even to avoid any leakages or loopholes around the project. I mean that if one another project is maybe restoration of forest, it shouldn't be surrounded by maybe ecologically poor clear cuts, etc., or something else, yeah. Or therefore, if they will use some sort of clean development mechanisms of the Kyoto Protocol, some sort, of course, just a type, inside our countries, and what will allow our maybe business of our countries to reduce carbon footprint, not only nationally, but semi-internationally, so inside BRICS country. I hope it could be supported by our governments. Sure that in the beginning it have to be as a pilot phase, certainly should be as a pilot phase. However, it looks like good opportunity to progress to future for closer and closer cooperation between our countries and almost around the globe, because our countries is a very large part of the globe. Yeah. So this is our view.
Yes, Alexei, thank you. And this point is reflected in the proposal. Let's call it inside BRICS development of joint implementation or other sort of projects with inter-investments between these five.
Vladimir,
Right?
could I underline one editorial thing? You know that joint implementation of Annex 1 countries of the Kyoto Protocol and CDM of non-Annex 1 countries was only very hard criticism of many NGO in many countries, in Europe, in the United States, in Russia. Therefore, our terminology should be
different.
Something different. Maybe something similar with Paris Agreement, what is sustainable development projects, or please consider an opportunity, maybe joint sustainable development project or joint sustainable climate project, something like that.
Yeah, great. So I'm asking, great. I understand psychologically it's very important just to avoid this negative heritage from some CDM and GI joint implementation projects from the Kyoto period. And hereby I'm asking Anna and Yulia just to check again the wording of joint implementation, совместные проекты внутри БРИКС по климату, just to avoid such a repeat. So Alex, thank you very much for your intervention and proposals, and please clarification to Alexei question if you have.
There is one question from Owen. Oh, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name.
Owen, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello? Is it question or what is it?
There was a hand from Owen. Owen, I think it's name.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
There was a hand from me. Hi, everyone. My name is Owen Ndidi. I'm from South Africa. I'm the former Civil Bricks.
Hello?
Can you hear me properly?
Now, yes.
Now we can hear. Last 20 seconds there was no sound, but now we can hear well.
Nothing, sorry.
Maybe you can write it down.
Yulia, please put to the chat the ask to Owen
Okay.
to put his question in. So waiting the clarification from Owen, I would like to give a floor to Kelly from South Africa, maybe to introduce the situation in South Africa and maybe the ideas, because Kelly represent quite famous organization, Oxfam. Oxfam is very famous with its ideas and visionary position for a lot of issues. Kelly, may I ask you to take floor?
Hi everyone, Kelly from Oxfam South Africa. Apologies for my colleague Owen. I do not know what he was actually going to say, but we are experiencing high volumes of load shedding in the country at the moment. Some are having almost 22 to 24-hour load shedding, so our reception for connecting is quite bad. So just let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear quite well, yes.
Okay, great. So just to feed in what Fabrizio was saying, in terms of development finance, and just going back to the point on the proposal at, just screen here, where was I? Under number 9, regarding policy towards BRICS financial institutions. So at the moment, what we are currently discussing is working on a mechanisms, again, for responsible investment in terms of the BRICS Bank funding fossil fuel projects, specifically FGD technologies, and also asking for accountability mechanisms in terms of air quality emission legislation as per country systems, asking them, you know, as a bank, what are they putting in place for the projects that they are funding in terms of some large infrastructure such as coal-fired plants. I mean, specifically speaking to South Africa, which is going to take up large amounts of water, and due to climate change, that's not in the interest of the communities that live around it. So largely focused on asking for project monitoring and mechanisms for accountability and also transparency in terms of their emissions and how they are going to reduce it by the projects that they are funding.
Yes, Kelly, so thanks, you reflected again these positions. So yeah, if you have any additions or ideas how to improve these positions, then for sure you're welcome. And maybe it's right moment to specify one important footnote where we put that the issues connected with the nuclear industry and large hydro power plant So there is a footprint explaining that this is position of the only NGO, environmental NGO, who campaign around these technologies or have position on it. So it was a big and kindly asked request from our colleagues from China, based on the reasonable arguments, that this position to be somehow mentioned, that NGOs, especially Chinese NGOs, so they have to distance to these demands, to these bullet points in our proposal. So it means that this is position of organization, non-governmental organization, who campaign or have particular position to nuclear and large hydraulic power stations. So this is just to understand what's the situation here. Okay, Kelly, thank you very much for your intervention. And please help me, Anna, Anya, who else would like to? Please help me just to specify who ready to take floor, please.
Can I start? Please, I'm so sorry. There is just Owen Ndidi writing me, and could we please give him a second chance? I hope the connection will be better this time.
Okay, Owen, please, your floor.
Owen? Doesn't look like it works. Okay, Anna, anyone from the chat?
Yeah, I can see that Devita raised a hand. So
great. Devita, please represent yourself and your floor.
Hi. Thanks for giving me the floor, Vladimir. It's nice to meet you here, and Yulia, thank you for inviting me to the meeting. I'm glad to be connected with other members of the group. Sorry, I was a little bold and I just put my hand up because I might have to leave soon, and I just wanted to make a couple of points. I've not really had the chance to comment on the document, but I did go through it before we started the meeting. In terms of backing up to what my colleague from Italy said, in terms of engaging with the New Development Bank as ActionAid, that's where I work, and as part of BRICS Feminist Watch, where I'm a core member along with Govin. We have engaged with the New Development Bank on the same lines of asking them to define what they call green and what they mean by sustainable development. And this is also a position that a lot of civil society organizations that have been engaging with the BRICS Bank have taken, in terms of whether there is a sustainability criteria against which you are measuring projects that you approve, which is suitable to the BRICS countries, and not really just taking on what other banks might be doing. And then also putting the sustainability criteria out in the public domain, so that we are also able to in some ways hold the bank accountable to their own criteria. So that was a point I just wanted to reinforce with relation to the BRICS Bank. Another thing that I wanted to point out was that the recommendations already talk about community participation and looking at how they engage with project implementation. But as BRICS Feminist Watch, while engaging with the BRICS Bank, we've also talked about a much more comprehensive approach, where we are also looking at how communities themselves are part of planning the project. So it's not just the impact of the project once it's being implemented, but it's also how do you get communities on board during the planning process, through public consultations, making documents public, involving civil society organizations and community representatives, etc. And this is something I think that is reinforced by a couple of studies that BRICS Feminist Watch has done on existing projects of the New Development Bank. And we found, very minor things like a road is being built in a low-lying area where it floods every monsoon season, but because the local community was not sort of consulted on this, the road was built anyway without having taken into consideration the fact that it will flood during the monsoons. So it's these minor details that actually really need to be taken in on board while projects are being planned. So that's one of the things that I thought maybe we can include in the section on the New Development Bank. And also, one of the things we have been struggling with when it comes to the bank is their approach to country systems, which is, they do say that when it comes to EIA and community participation and looking at laws like labor laws, whether the labor laws are being followed while hiring people in projects that are being financed by the bank. They always say that we are following country systems, but one of the things that we have engaged with and we've requested the bank to do is also look at what would be the basic minimum non-negotiable of the bank when it comes to things like this, because there are countries like India where labor laws are just poorly implemented. So in that case, it is really harmful in a way if the bank says that we are just going to rely on country systems and not have our own standards. So beyond EIA, I think there are also other laws like labor laws, like equal pay for women, that I think that the bank also needs to have certain basic standards on, which is something we've asked the bank in the past to articulate. One point I had, I think this is in point number 16, where I really appreciate that we've tried to look at, what the rapid response force during a humanitarian crisis could look like. But I was wondering whether we can broaden it out to talk about maybe a plan. What does a sustainable recovery plan for BRICS countries look like in the face of a crisis, in the aftermath of a crisis? Again, I'm basing this on the example of what we're seeing in India in the COVID crisis. We are really seeing a lot of small businesses, self-employed people just completely go underwater, so the recovery is actually consolidating wealth, and it's consolidating power, I would say, in a few businesses, instead of really helping small enterprises, medium enterprises stay afloat. So is that something that we could maybe think of having a BRICS recovery plan, not just a fund? And then I think my last point was, I noticed that, and this is again very welcome, that in points 17 and 18, we're talking about community participation and knowledge in restoring and protecting degraded lands and forests. I would say that we should maybe go beyond just talking about their knowledge and talking about the role they can play in protecting, but also talk about their access and their right to develop those resources. Because a lot of times what we have seen in India, and I think this is an experience in other developing countries as well, especially BRICS countries, where we involve communities in a very artificial, cosmetic definition of protection. So you are involved in protection, but you can't have access to the forest or to the land that you are dependent on for your survival. So I would also talk maybe a little bit about access, include that language, access of vulnerable communities to these lands and forests, instead of just talking about the role that they can play in protecting and restoring them. So these are just a few of the points that I thought I'd put on the table here, maybe for discussion, and I would be happy to comment and maybe include some of these points in the language that we've used in the draft over the weekend. Thank you. Thanks for giving me the floor.
Yes, Diviti, do you have next 2 minutes just maybe to get clarification questions from colleagues?
Yeah. I'm here for
great.
another
Great.
5-10 minutes.
Yep. So colleagues, please, your clarification to DVT, great contribution. Some I see new ideas to be input into our proposal. So if people still developing clarification to DVT, so DVT, I can go through your. I counted five suggestions. So regarding the point of green recovery of BRICS, meaning just not just economic recovery, but supporting small and middle business and people as people in the center of any recovery plan in BRICS. I think it's quite reasonable to strengthen the bullet point number one. Just maybe to arm it with the position you told that it should be also positioned regarding people and small business. So this is point number one I put into my to-do list. Speaking about the difference between bank standard and national standard in the state of operation of international banks. Yes, we don't have it reflected yet, and I think it's quite reasonable to put into the bullet point number 9, and put this two position you suggested about let's say bank standards which should be let's say oriented into the best practice, but not to the national standards which are maybe not fair, not proper enough. And secondly, regarding the standards of bank itself, but regarding the criteria of the banks, what they think, how this criteria to look like. So it's sort of deja vu. I feel now that 5 years ago, when we did this civil BRICS in Russia, I think we had the same proposal about criteria, because since that time we didn't move ahead. So I think this is a bad news. I think we should reflect it for sure. DVT and I think criteria to be the demand from our environmental NGO community. I did know that they don't have yet, especially regarding New Development Bank. I think it was done since that time. So regarding your point about local community and feminist and gender groups in particular participation in the projects of New Development Bank and other banks. So so I'm looking now, and yes, we don't have the direct wording about the right for resources, and maybe even veto right. So DVT. So if you have an idea how to formulate and to arm the point number 12 with expanding the right for resources and veto right. So if a local community have a reasonable position to veto the project and their territories, I think it's also could be considered and put somehow in the point number 12. So this is what I picked up from you, DVT, and if you don't mind, please, next 24 hours, if you develop the suggestions you just talked about, that would be great, and share via Yulia or Anya. Please do it. It's quite reasonable. Thank you, Divita. So Yulia, Anya, do we have hands or people asking the floor? We have, yep.
No.
We have Nina Ladygina Glazovskaya from Russia. Nina, we didn't meet each other before, but if you have anything to add, so then the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm a Brixologist and from St. Petersburg, and I have a little proposition for cooperation between the BRICS countries in ecology. And I think that all of our countries have mining, we mine diamonds. We have diamond industries. And all of these interesting industries might cooperate between each other on standards in ecology and also the rights of local people that are involved in these in diamond industry mining processes. And if a bit later I could send my propositions about these cooperation propositions in a written form to your email. Okay. Is everything okay? I think that's just all I can say.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions? Colleagues? So I guess our moderator have some problems with his internet. So maybe Julia or Anna, will you keep on going on and continue our discussion?
Well, I don't see any questions or comments, and that was the main point of meeting here. So I don't know whether Vladimir will be available or not, but oh, there is a message from Owen. Owen, can you join us? Can you still try to? Okay. I think that, well, he's writing that they will meet and make some submissions on the document. Thank you so much for that. And any comments? Still, you have a chance, a wonderful chance to participate in this discussion.
Colleagues, I was interrupted for a while.
There is a hand from Divya. Divya, you're welcome.
Hi, my name is Divya. I'm from India. I work with the foundation, and I had a lot of questions to make on the part of the sessions, but some an observation. Somebody who's on the climate and energy and climate finance. So I was wondering that
Divya,
apart from the fact that we emphasize the coal power. Sorry.
Could you please switch off the video? I think that the connection is a bit weak.
All right. Okay. All right. Is that okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah. So what I wanted to emphasize, Vasudha working on recovery and post corona pandemic. So I think one of the things that is in this entire context is the renewable energy deployment, such as rooftop, micro gigs, etc. Because for developing countries like India, renewable energy solution can provide a lot of advantages. For instance, they can provide access to the rural areas, can provide energy access for medium, employment opportunities to the people, help in agricultural production sector. So I think that is one of the areas where I saw the section on renewable energy did find the emphasis that I think it get right now, because utilities renewable energy generation, of course, important, and emphasis is being given to it already. But the sector has sort of taken a beating, at least in India, pandemic because not many people are invested. So government support, BRICS country support in sector will be important. I also want to make a vision that RE financing in this time will be very in any case, at least in India, very difficult to come because of the high cost of loans and also the short tenor of loans and several things that actually financing from regional RE sector. And government very proactive role. So the countries can then sort of have a fund or a pool of resources where which could sort of developing countries with the RE projects. And because of corona pandemic and the limited public resources that the governments will have themselves, a lot of immediate economic distress, addressing immediate economic distress. So I was wondering if a pool or a fund should be created so that these emerging sectors that help in the recovery can then be supported and not find themselves struggling in the aftermath of the pandemic. That is what I say. Thank you.
Divya, thank you. The communication was very poor.
Vladimir, not
sorry.
connection.
Once again, Yulia?
It was the connection, not communication.
Connection. Sorry. Yeah, Divya. It was technical
connection and
problem.
Subsequently the communication.
No, connection for sure, Divya. Sorry.
I hope I've made my point. So I don't.
Yeah, Divya, would be great. Please share with your points. As I understand, it was about the development special funds or foundations to help vulnerable group of people to develop renewable energy for people who would need the power approach to the power, and that could be done through the investment into renewable energy via especially developed governmental funds for such a purpose. Am I right?
Yes. One of the points, and also to press on the fact that decentralized renewable energy should be emphasized along with the utility scale renewable energy power generation. So that was another point.
Decentralization, which is very important for India, for sure. So we know the situation. Let's Divya, please send it. I also put into my list, just maybe not forget these 2 points: decentralization and governmental fund for renewable. And
I'll articulate in a better manner, and then Yulia by tomorrow.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please contact me by email. You have it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, colleagues, who else would like to speak to? Great. So then what we can do further? So if you come in to the end in the exchange of our minds and thoughts in our online group. So I would like, first of all, again, thanks to everybody who brought the ideas and provide us with the additional ideas and points to be input into the draft proposal. Again, the deadline is Monday, September 7th, but we are waiting it next 24 hours from you to our to Anya, Yulia, and myself. And I would like to go through the ideas I listened, and what I'm going to work next 48 hours with support from Anna and Yulia. First of all, things connected with the green recovery mentioned by Divita, by Dina, by Fabrizio, regarding the Green Deal, regarding the motivation of business to go this direction, regarding the decentralized renewable energy, special foundation and financial support from government for renewable development. So we we have a block connected with the local communities and the relationships between local communities and industry, where we have very important issues connected with the development bank policy, especially new development bank. So we have a set of ideas from Divita again. So we have a very important contribution from Alexei Kokorin regarding the wording and the idea how to interconnect BRICS countries within the sort of Paris Agreement joint climate projects. And we have a lot about circular economy. Special thanks to Fabrizio, to Maria Cherkasova, and everybody who also reflect that stuff. Unfortunately, we didn't have representative from Brazil and China. Nevertheless, for sure, we have very intensive contribution, a lot of contribution from China. Just to let you know, we have as a stakeholder the Chinese Association of Environmental Organization, which develop a lot of things connected circular economy, connected forest restoration, connected again green recovery, which is very important for such country like China at the moment. So for China, we have very intensive contribution from association. So I think the China is very well presented in this work, in spite they absent today. We very hope that we'll receive additional contribution or feedback from Kelly, from our colleagues from South Africa. Oxfam is a very strong stakeholder and think tank. So it would be great also to have any ideas we maybe missed, or maybe somehow to improve the wording. We also have communication thanks to Anya with Brazilian colleagues, and we very hope that we'll receive sort of feedback from their side too. So hereby I would like particular Fabrizio, particular Divita, Dini, please provide us with your suggestions in the written form, and for sure we'll do the best to reflect it in our final draft. And hereby, if somebody have the final words at this online meeting, so it's the time, please. And afterwards, I would like to give a floor to Stepan, who represent Secretariat of Civil BRICS 2020. So colleagues, please, the floor is open. If no comments, additions, please, Stepan, what you think about today's online meeting and about the draft of document itself. You can compare it with the other 7 groups. Maybe you can tell if we are satisfied or we are even better somehow.
Yeah, very satisfied. And I'll be very brief. I just take the liberty of saying that recommendations from Ecology, Climate and Energy Working Group are the most structured and fruitful of all other 7 working groups. I would like to thank our dear colleagues from Greenpeace, Vladimir, Julia and Anna, for wonderful moderation for the discussion. And I would like to thank all experts joining us today as well. Thank you for your time, for your efforts, for your proposals. And we are waiting for your comments and feedbacks next 24 hours, right?
Thank you, Stepan. And regarding the forum itself, 23rd, 25, maybe you can tell a couple words. And
actually, I don't have much details right now. We're still discussing all the organizational details, but I will share with you them as soon as possible. Yes, unfortunately, that was a kind of useful comment, useless comment, but that's the situation for now. I'm sorry for that.
So nevertheless, I would like to add an appeal to all the participants of today's meeting. So 23rd, 25th is the official Civil BRICS summit in Moscow, but it will be online for international guest majority for all of them. These days we will have plenary session for 4 or 5 hours with the reports, with the presentations. I think 5 or 7 presentation to be presented at this in our working group plenary during these days. The date is not fixed yet, so Stepan is looking at the draft of the program for this forum. So if somebody would like to suggest the ideas of presentation and would like to do such a presentation on 23rd, 25th, approximately the same time you have now in your time zone. So then you're welcome. The floor is open. Govind, you're welcome with the ideas about gender issues. Kelly, position of Oxfam, you're welcome. Fabrizio, your vision as economist, also welcome. Everybody who would like to share and to present at the forum, Civil BRICS Forum, you're welcome with your ideas presentation. So the program is not fulfilled, so you're all welcome with your ideas and to have next opportunity to share with your position. And herewith, I would like to thank everybody again. Thank you for your time, for your contribution. I think it's very important for our horizontal interconnection, uniting of our community itself. Let's see what will be in the end. What kind of our points will go to final official summit leaders summit document. Very hope some of our 2021 bullet points will be put on the table of Putin, Mondi, Xi Jinping, or whoever, and then will be celebration. Let's see what we'll have in the end. And again, thank you very much, dear colleagues.
So,
thank you.
We are talking of 24th, 25th September, right?
Yes. Yes, Govind. Yes.
Okay, so this will be definitely online meeting, right? I missed
yes.
that part.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Yep. There will be 3 experts online in Moscow, but I'm not sure. 3
experts offline in Moscow.
3 experts offline, but taking into account the borders which could be closed yet. I think it could be only the Russian citizen. 3 people offline. Yes. So Govind, I would like personally to meet you and to have a chat offline sometime, personally, but not this time, unfortunately, because of pandemic.
I understand. Yeah.
Yes. So then online. Yeah.
Hopefully, definitely we should meet.
Yeah. Let's sometimes we will see each other. Yeah. Good. So, dear colleagues, thanks again. Thanks to our Anya and Yulia, great assistants. Thanks to Secretariat who organized this technical assistance. And thanks everybody who come. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vladimir. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you. Goodbye.
I am